Now we're going to talk about print advertising and the most effective ways to create various advertising. What is advertising? Basically, all advertising is it's a form of persuasive writing. It's quote a form of communication for marketing and used to encourage or persuade an audience to continue or take some new action. So, the goal of advertising is to convince a viewer to do something, to respond some way, to change, take some sort of action. And you can do this by bunch of different ways. So obviously you want to be very creative in the way you say things. For example, blood stocks always run low after Easter. Please book an appointment now. This is a good design because it says what it needs to say. Very important here. This is the hierarchy. They want that message out. And it's a clever way of dividing the space by showing that the blood is low, that blood stocks are low by having the red lower on the page. But why should we advertise? Well, you want to communicate with customers, you want to send a message, or you want to sell a product. So there's various reasons why you advertise. And not every advertisement is for a product. It might just be about letting people know about something. There are three basic considerations when creating an advertisement. You have to think of the audience, you have to think of the subject, and you have to think of the purpose. So how do you design a good advertisement? Well, the first thing is you hammer out your headline. In most cases, this is the single most important element of a print ad. Most people see that headline first. It's one of the biggest things that jump out and grab people. They may see an image, such as this over here. Yeah, you see that image. And then you see down here, reality sucks. That's actually kind of funny. So you can see there's a little humor in there. And then you continue on. So we've got the hierarchical element of the image was first. And it's like, okay, and then reality sucks. And then you get it. If you've never seen Free Willy, basically at the end of Free Willy, the boy stands on this rock and a killer whale jumps over him out of the confined space to the free sea. So reality sucks. And so you can see it's advertising for a group of cinemas. So what they're saying is, don't deal with reality, go watch some shows. Where the headline placed within the ad is just as important as what the headline says. You need to make sure that the headline dominates the ad so it can be quickly understood. So too often the headline, which includes the most important information within an ad, is lost in the muddle of too many type fonts, graphics, and other elements. So this is really important because obviously the designer wanted you to see this image first, then read the headline, reality sucks. They wanted to kind of create that humor with it. Then not only do you need to hammer out your headline, but you need to make it stick. So there's different techniques you can use to attract attention. You can use humor, such as the last one. You can ask questions, such as this ad right here. Honestly now, did you spend your youth dreaming about someday owning a Nissan or a Mitsubishi? Yeah, Porsche. Okay, right. We dream about owning a Porsche someday. So that is something that you can appeal to using those questions. You can also appeal to senses. So if you looked at this one right here, all the pleasure and 99 calories. Appealing to that, ooh, that looks good, that looks very tasty. You can also use rhyme or play on words or alliteration. And another way is to make people feel special. Have you ever seen the ads? You deserve this. So yes, the ad's trying to get you to do something. So like we said, the top three considerations are the audience, the subject, and the purpose. So not only with these, you have to understand who your audience is. Who are you trying to gear this ad towards? And it will make adjustments to your font choices. It will make adjustments to your color choices. Now this ad, looking at this ad right here, it is probably geared towards adult males. Adult males. The color scheme is very masculine. The text here is very masculine. It's not a feminine text. And so you can see that that would appeal to that probably a 30 plus age range of older men. Yeah, now it might appeal to some women as well, but the way that this ad was built, they knew that the majority of the audience of people who want to have a nice vehicle are probably men. That's what they care about more. So you need to know that audience. So they knew that the audience, the majority of people who probably buy Porsches are male, and so they're going to appeal to that audience. You have to know that subject. So what are we selling and the purpose of it? Are we selling something or is it just to inform? So you need to know that. So another way to design a good advertisement is that fonts matter. Fonts matter. So I talked about that font being masculine. There are masculine fonts and there are also feminine fonts. There are also nice fonts and there are also scary fonts. Obviously, fonts matter. And then you also need to shape your subheads. In addition to the main headline, a subhead can impart secondary information. So if you want to give more information, you need the viewer to be interested enough to want to find out what more is going on. So different ways you can do that. The headline must grab the readers. So first you looked here, that's going to grab your reader. The subhead can explain the deal further. So not all ads require a subhead, but this element, generally set in a smaller type, is there to give the reader additional information without cluttering up your ad. The other thing you want to do is choose a memorable image. Simple but unexpected is often the best. Obviously, this is unexpected, and you guys may be too young to know Free Willy, but it's pretty darn funny to see him eating the kid that he jumped over. So that's pretty unexpected. But something simple, again, there's not too much going on. So for example, these stark colorful silhouette ads that barely even show the iPods, so they couldn't get more straightforward. Yes, okay, we're selling iPods. But because they don't look like any other ads, they're instantly recognizable. So Apple is really good about that. Even with all of their advertising, they come up with themes and they stick to that for a year or an advertising campaign, just so that people get so used to it that they know immediately that that's an Apple, that it's Apple ads. So they're very good about doing that. Another good way to create an advertisement is to distinguish yourself from your competitors. Use the ad to highlight your product's advantages over the competitors. So you can see Silly Whopper, that's a Big Mac box. So it's going against its competitors. To avoid lawsuits, however, keep to statements about your product, not theirs. For example, this Burger King ad actually mocks the size of Big Mac while speaking the literal truth. That is a Big Mac box. After all, leaving McDonald's no legal ground from which to retaliate. Yes, Silly Whopper, that's a Big Mac box. This could be edited, for sure. This could be resized to make it look bigger. But it's not saying that. The ad is not saying that a Big Mac or Whopper cannot fit into a Big Mac box. It is an image, and there's no way that it can be sued because this is a true statement. That is a Big Mac box. You also need to decide on a good final layout. So in design and layout, the design and layout of an ad is everything. It has to make sense, it has to be logical, and it has to be hierarchical. You have to grab your attention first, order of important information next. So this ad has a bunch of information in it, but basically, here's the attention grabber. Get a clue. What am I getting a clue about? Oh, forensics for dummies, looking there next. Then you can start getting the rest of it in information. If you're interested in forensics for dummies, yes, you're going to continue to read this and figure out all the rest of the information because they did a great job grabbing attention with a great heading, having a secondary image to tell me what's going on, then all this other information, which is a lot smaller, it's not as important. But you can see this this quote about it saying dynamic, entertaining, and educational, blows the lid off the science of crime. So that's more important than this because that's going to either bring you further. So if you are interested in forensics, oh, maybe I do want to read this book. So now I'm going to finish out and continue to read more information. So you need to make sure that that layout works and it is very interesting. So your eye is drawn around the page. It's not just in an easy order, but your eye has to go to different places within this within this ad to be able to really understand things. So how do you get these techniques to work for you? First thing that you need to do is you need to figure out the customer you are aiming for. Second thing is you need to have carefully chosen language. You need to decide, based on your customer, and based on your subject matter, what kind of language do you want? Do you want humor? Do you want something more serious? How are you going to grab attention? Then the last thing is you have to appeal to some aspects of the reader's personality. Do you want to make them feel good? Do you want them to make them feel sad or guilty or have the urge to help something or pique their interest to go see something, get their competitive spirits? All these different things are what you need to think about when you design your ad.